and welcome to another edition of Temporary Australians. I'm Jonesy.
And I'm Hirsty.
Hirsty, I understand that you went to the Perth Hills.
I did, mate. Great ride.
Well, from here, Sydney to Perth, just to pick up the mill. I rode a motorcycle that has 5,600 cc's.
That big?
That big.
Wow.
That's what they all say. This is what else is coming up on Temporary Australians.
We meet up with Yogi and find out about his charity work. The Diggers Military Motorcycle Club show us their clubhouse in Robertson. We find out why Victory and Indian need more space in Brisbane and why riders need legal help to fight unfair laws. We check out the Grey Gum Cafe on the Putty Road. We find out what's great in Victoria for sports bikes. And we ask what riders think of the West Australian Government's in a Bikey Campaign. We're in Victoria Park in Perth, Western Australia. Now, a lot of people come over to this part of the world for the wrong reasons, either sporting events or for the casino. We're here for the right reasons, to go on a ride with Benno from Hunter Motorcycles. Mate, where are you taking us today?
We're going up to the Kalamunda Tavern, and from there we'll end the ride at the Parkerville Tavern. They got a magnificent outdoor area, Parkerville Tavern.
It's good to see you got a big turnout. Is it just Hunter motorcycle riders who've come today?
No, we invite everybody on our rides. We've we've got a lot of the Hunter riders sort of start with a Hunter and then progress up to bigger bikes, and so they're welcome as well, and their mates and our mates, and everybody comes along.
We've heard of the Adelaide Hills, but I don't know that many people on the East Coast have heard of the Perth Hills, and that's where we are.
Yeah, that's that little lump you fly over on the way in, mate. So we're up at the Kalamunda Hotel here, and it's just sort of like the first stop out of the city before you head country. And we're going to go on a lovely winding road through the back along Mundaring Road, cross over a bit of water, and head to the Parkerville Tavern.
Now, Ben, that was a superb ride. Is that very popular with Perth bikers?
Yeah, it's a great bit of road, like fairly close to the city, and that new bit of tarmac there is just awesome. The twisted turns and beautiful spot, and you cross over the river near the Mundaring Dam, which is a big water supply, and scenery is beautiful, and the road's twisty as twisty, and beautiful surfaces on them, and I rode rigid, and no dramas at all, lovely. And what a great way to end up right here at the Parkerville Tavern, or the Parky as it's known to the locals. They've welcomed us, they've done free food for everybody, and it's a magnificent old historic hotel, as you can see. It's in the middle of nowhere, and there's about 3 different ways you can get here on beautiful twisty roads. And we saw, as you saw, as we were coming along, there were groups of 5 or 6 riders out doing a bit of a run around the hills, and this was obviously one of their stops they'd come from.
It's nice, bendy roads, good roads for bikes. Not so good for cars, but no, great for bikes. Well, Mundaring Road itself, it's notorious for bike accidents, probably hence the name of your program. There has been quite a few bikers died on that road over the many years. But no, if you know the roads and you handle the roads and you ride within your means, you should be fine.
It's a little bit of a hidden secret over here, the Perth Hills. Nice windy roads, and what can I say? It is a secret, but I suppose the cat's out of the bag now, so we're going to probably get a lot more people out there.
I don't know why you'd say that. I can't imagine how anyone will find out.
Nah, well, we'll keep it to ourselves, eh?
Yogi, you're well known down here and in the beautiful Tassie. Yeah. You do a lot of charity work.
Yes, we done one for Victorian bushfires, and when they had them over then, we gave them $4,500. We done one just for Tassie bushfires last year. Everyone knows me in Tassie, and I've just got the rapport. People, if my name's on a ride, everybody will come. We got good rapport with pubs. They supply me food. They'll put lunch on, spit roasts on, barbecues. RSL now have come on board with me good, and just people do things because it's a good cause.
How did you get so well known, Yogi?
Oh, just been a nice bloke.
Can't forget him when you're
a nice bloke, yeah.
Tell us some of the incidents that really spread your name.
The Rebs, I renovated their clubhouse in town, done the one down Sorrel, done the one up in Norfolk for them, and I suppose just because you're a nice bloke. And treat everyone as you want to be treated, you know. And in the bike scene, well, you got to do it, don't you?
Are you surprised how well thought of he is?
No, not at all. He's just everywhere you go. It's even trip to the mainland. It's hard to find someone that doesn't know him. You go over there and you line up in a queue somewhere, Yogi!
Last question, how did you get your nickname?
Don't know. It's been, well, my mum calls me it, and it's been, I'd say since primary school. Yeah, I don't know. As far as I can remember that, mate. You know, people don't forget you, which is good for all
Not
round.
that they can forget you anyway.
GF, tell us about the Diggers.
Well, the Diggers was formed in December of 2008. It's basically for ex-serving members of the Australian Defence Force, Army, Air Force and Navy, and also some Commonwealth forces. It's a brotherhood. We've all done the same type of stuff. We've all gone through the same issues as such. We've got a lot of guys that come back from Iraq, Afghanistan. We support those guys. So it's basically a fraternity, looking after each other. Basically, our motto is sticking by your mates.
What sort of things does your club do?
We go for rides. We have some social functions. We also do legacy rides. We also do a lot of community work around Robertson. We try to get ourselves involved with the community.
The local community in Robertson have warmed to you.
We've been quite impressed how we've been taken under their hearts and all that. It's quite good.
Now, there's a lot of military motorcycle clubs that wear back patches as well. What makes you guys different from the others?
We don't hold any prejudice if you've been overseas or not. So basically, if you've done your minimum service, you've signed a dotted line saying that you serve for your country. It gives you the opportunity to knock on our door, and then you go from there.
What's the attraction for servicemen to join a motorcycle club, do you think?
We've all been through places like Kapuka, so we basically know each other, from our background, and basically, it's a good group of guys. You go riding together, you socialise together, and because you've got a variety of age groups, you've also got guys who are still serving, ex-serving members. It's a good mix.
It's a bit like a variation on the men's shed, I guess, isn't it?
It is, except you ride bikes, but it's a good, if guys are down, if they need assistance, they need help and all that type of stuff, we're there.
The simple mention of the word V8 commands respect. If you own a V8, women want to be with you, men want to be your mates. If you've got a V8, everyone is impressed. And why not? Look at it. Look at it. It just says everything about power and testosterone. But what happens if you get the V8, take it out of here, and put it in a motorbike? Well, that'd be just crazy. Would it be crazy? Enter the Barbarian. Barbarian motorcycles have been around since 2006, but this one truly sets the benchmark. It's a 5.7 litre SS Commodore motor that powers this bad boy. So we're looking at 5,700 cc's. I'd love to see the green slip for it. I mentioned green slip. Well, this thing is actually road registered. It's ADR approved. Imagine riding into a village on this bad boy. It's a beast and a half. But right now, it's all quiet. It's all quiet until you turn the Barbarian on and you thumb that starter. Well, hello. These days, the Barbarian uses an aluminium engine block, so it's like 80 kilos lighter. This thing's like a postie bike, really. With a 29 litre tank, this will get you about 200 kilometres. But if you're buying a V8 bike, it doesn't matter about fuel. So you want to get yourself a Barbarian. It's going to cost you around $50,000, but really, that's a lot of motorcycle for a little price. And I tell you what, you'll be the envy of everyone on your street. That's why the V8 Barbarian is a sled we'd love in our shed.
Victory's been in Australia since 2008. You've set up company stores in Sydney and Melbourne and recently in Brisbane.
Yes, it was an exciting addition to our portfolio of dealerships. Again, opening up in Brisbane one of the key markets for heavy cruisers.
When we were up there filming, there were a lot of enthusiasts who came along for the ride, and they spoke really well of the setup there, and having a car park just across the road was really good for a Saturday morning ride.
Yeah, look, we spent a long time looking for the right location and facility. It was a real challenge, and we've been looking for a number of years. When the site came up there, we sort of pounced on it. Again, pretty tight, and again, you know, with all the growth we've had with Indian and Victory in that marketplace, strangely enough, already outgrown the facility, and again, with what's coming later this year with the new Scout and various other additions to the Victory portfolio, we're probably going to need new premises in the not too distant future.
Well, that's the problem when you buy a property, isn't it? If you don't stay there for a long time, you've got a lot of all this extra work.
Yeah, look, it's a premium retail district, so we wanted to be amongst those other prestige brands and really give the Victory and Indian brand the right environment to prosper.
I understand that there's been a new Indian released at Sturgis recently.
Yes, Greg. The very famous Scout name has been relaunched into the Indian lineup. So that happened just this past August, and we're very excited about the addition to the range. 1200cc Scout, we'll probably see it in Australia late in the fourth quarter of 2014. So again, priced from $17,995 right away. So it really is exciting stuff for us.
Well, Morris Blackburn Lawyers has got a bit of a history now of running campaigns in support of motorcycle issues. You started firstly with the one in reaction to the TAC ad in Victoria, which was highly controversial.
Sure.
Do you want to just describe what you did?
Sure. What we've tried to do is give a voice to unfunded rider advocacy groups where there's a particular situation they'd like to have addressed that they don't feel maybe government-funded initiatives are addressing in full. In this regard, we've tried to look at Smitty. Sorry, mate, I didn't see you. It was around a time of heightened emotion around the TAC saying rider safety solely attributable to riders. A great outcome from that parliamentary inquiry that we had down there on motorcycle safety saw the TAC being instructed to show motorcycling in a positive light, as well as to try and highlight driver awareness when talking about motorcycle safety.
The data we located was that 84% of the time the accident was caused by the driver of the car when a particular sort of intersection collision. 84% of the time the driver. Against that, Mr. Lay, who's now the Chief Commissioner of Police in Victoria, said in the press a couple of years ago, 80% of the time it was the rider to blame. Now, where did he get that number from? It didn't make any sense at all. As we tried to chase that data, it didn't exist.
We were at the Australian Motorcycle Council at their AGM in Hobart earlier this year, and what we've tried to do is get across a piece of communication that can be used to make the case for lane filtering with government decision makers. That's the target audience. And we've tried to address the issue of congestion and how it might be reduced, and also highlighted the fact that internationally and in Europe specifically, a study which seems to suggest that it's 6 times safer to move into the lanes between traffic so you avoid being rear-ended in columns of queued traffic.
What's been the reaction, riders and government?
Not everyone agrees with us or with the motorcycle advocacy groups who are promoting it. But the fact we're having this debate, the fact we can put across a diagrammatic depiction of what we're talking about, I think is only going to prove successful, as it has on YouTube, where I think we've got about 65,000 views in under 2 weeks, which I'm told was more than the TAC's latest motorcycle safety communication. So we must be doing something right.
If you do the Putty Road, you've got to stop at the Grey Gums Cafe. There's plenty of motorcycle parking, and they even serve bikers at the tables out front. Tell us about the Grey Gums.
Grey Gums was built 3.5 years ago. We built it for motorbikes. Consequently, you've got all the bike parking. That's the only market that constitutes a market on the road.
Well, it has become an iconic part of the Putty Road. I mean, everyone in Sydney, when they talk about going for a ride, talks about stopping at the Grey Gums. Are you surprised that it's been so well accepted in the motorcycle scene?
We've done no marketing, we've done no advertising, we've done practically nothing to promote the place. It's all been word of mouth. And it's 75 to 80% of our business is motorbikes, even during the week.
So what sort of motorcyclists stop off here? Is it mostly clubs or a lot of individuals?
Clubs, individuals, guys riding around Australia by themselves. We offer free camping, so we get a lot of groups camping and then a lot of individuals spending the night and using the facilities. So I'd say we see every type of motorbike and every type of bike rider.
One of the nice things that I noticed here is that you have waitresses actually come out and serve the motorcyclists at tables. I've actually never seen that before.
Oh, really?
No, never.
Oh, well, look, we've got to look after you. We've got to look after motorbikes. If we don't look after motorbikes, we're dead.
It's actually a reverse of what you would expect, because often motorcyclists are seen in a negative light. So if we go to a normal cafe, it's sometimes a bit hard to get service. Here it's the other way around. You want a service.
Absolutely, and that surprises me. By and large, you're gentleman plus. Absolute gentleman plus. You couldn't get a better market. There's never a complaint.
Great cafe, good spot, and the best thing about it, nice people that run it.
We lost the other one up the road a few years ago, and the girls here have taken it over, and she's put it exactly in the middle. This is right in the middle. It's about 100 and something clicks from Singleton, and it's a good road to ride.
It's also a bit of sad news. You're looking at selling up.
Well, we've got it on the market, yes. It's time for younger people, I think, to get involved and take over. It's been 3.5 years or 7 days a week and 15, 16 hours a day. We're just getting a little bit old for it. And it's got a lot of potential. I'd like to see someone come in that would put some cabins on the place and just take it to the next level. But we're very fussy. We're not going to let it go to anybody that's not going to embrace the motorbike community.
Now we're here with two avid sports bike riders down in Victoria. Firstly, John, what do you reckon about sports bikes in this state? Are they really popular?
Well, they are, yeah. We've got some fantastic roads in Victoria, some beautiful scenery, but we're also very close to some iconic racetracks. Phillip Island is a beautiful track to ride, and with the advent of the ride days, it's opened it up for everyone to be able to enjoy a sports bike.
Is there a bit of friendly rivalry between the brands of sports bikes?
Of course there is. Motorcycling divides into tribes, doesn't it? So yeah, there is. The Suzuki versus Kawasaki versus Yamaha. Riders would not only compete with each other, but would give you a hazing if your bike wasn't up to it. So my Kawasaki did beat a Ducati around Phillip Island one time, so I was happy with that.
Well, it'd be one of the few. It doesn't matter what you ride. I think you can find enjoyment in any sports bike. Being Ducati through and through, we believe that we've got a real good range of sports bikes. They're very, very easy to ride. They have things like traction control these days. They have ABS braking. So even a Kawasaki rider can go fast on a Ducati.
Is that possible?
It's possible. I'm still
Probably
a bit
even
old school.
faster.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit old school. I don't have any of that stuff. Not on my bike yet, so you're a cheeky bugger, aren't you?
Last month there was a blanketed media campaign for the public to dob in a bikie. I suppose the worst thing about this was the dob in a bikie was any bikie, so they didn't actually say whether it was a club, whether it was an organisation. It was dob in a bikie, which is a pretty big act of discrimination against bikers in general.
Have they said what they're trying to achieve with it?
No, they didn't achieve too much for it, besides a lot of media attention.
I was just driving down into Perth 20 minutes and I heard it come across the radio 3 times. Basically, they've spent all this money creating these new laws. They've had the laws passed and they've got to still spend money on advertising to dob in a bikie. For starters, how's the public supposed to know actually who a bikie is, whether they're a criminal?
What's your take on it?
Very un-Australian. It's a can of worms. There's firstly, what happens with the information they collect. So someone rings up anonymously and you can just pick somebody that you don't like, vilify them, they take that information, then what happens to that? What is that used for? Secondly, the people that ring in, what happens to their information is supposedly anonymous, and why is it okay to do this to one subsection of our community and not another? If you had dob in an Indigenous Australian Day or dob in a Muslim Day or Dob in a Woman Day. You know, you can't, it's not fair. That's why it's not only un-Australian to dob, but it's un-Australian to marginalise a multicultural society by picking one genre and vilifying it.
I just don't understand it. I really don't. It doesn't bother me. It won't bother any of these guys here. We're all family people. We're all businessmen. We all work for a living. We all pay our taxes. There's just no, to me it's just a pointless waste of time.
Yeah. He's got like a grey beard and he wears like a brotherhood patch and he's about this. Anyway, I'll see you later. Well, that's all we have time for on Temporary Australians. If you want to find out any details about the show, temporaryaustralians.com.au. In the meantime,
see you, Jonesy.
Shiny side up. Oh, you better run, Greg.